Okay guys, so here we go. I'm going to try to make a video of making the crank and slider. It's taken me a while to figure out the perfect camera angle, so just keep in mind I'm trying to work with the thing I use in school and all this other kind of stuff, so just bear with me. Alright, so the very first thing you're going to need to do is you're going to have to adjust your base plate. So I'm going to turn it sideways to see. You're actually going to take a 60 hole, 5 depth, 1 thin sheet of metal, and you are going to attach it to the back of your base plate using 2 1-inch standoffs. Now remember, every time you're going to use a standoff, you have screws, the little 1/4-inch screws that go with it, but this time you're going to need 4 1/4-inch screws to screw on the new piece that we're adding and on the back on either side. So go ahead and add this position. Now notice that I did not add it at the very top rung. I kind of went down over, and you want to save some space over here on the right hand side because that is where your cam is going to go, or your crank. Okay, so let me talk about your materials. So you're going to need your base plate, a slide bar, which is this, okay, your slide bar. You are going to need your 4 1/4-inch screws, which I already have in here, your 2 standoffs, a 4-inch shaft, a flat bearing, 4 3/4 inch of a screw, which is going to be not the longest that we have, but these right here, 1 1-inch screw, 5 Kep's nuts, 3 spacers, and of course, I mean, you might use more spacers. I used 3 large spacers, but it depends on, how tight you make yours, so it can vary. 2 shaft collars, your handle or crank, like some of y'all like to call it, even though that's something different in this piece. Your cam, your 20-hole single metal piece, which is this. Notice how it's just one sheet, and a slider gear, and both of the parts of the rivets. Okay, so those are the materials that you're going to need to make your crank and slider. Okay, so the very first thing you need to do is you need to add your slide bar over here towards the left end. Now I'm actually going to put mine where it's going to cover my 1/4-inch screws that I use on my standoff. So to use that, you're going to take 2 of your 3/4 of an inch and go ahead and add that and attach your slide bar. It is okay if your slide bar is hanging off on the left-hand side, as you can see. So you're going to attach that with some Kep's nuts. And, move the base plate however you want. That's going to allow you to get the best angle. Sorry, you couldn't actually see. So I'm trying to add it by using my screws. Make sure that it is even. Sorry, I'm trying to constantly do this and then look at the camera to make sure that I'm getting it in there. Okay. All right, so again, here's my slide bar that I added. Okay, next thing you need to do is you need to attach the cam. So to do that, you're going to use your 1 4-inch shaft, and actually, and you're going to learn this, you're going to want to put it in at the top. Okay, if you put it in at any of the holes towards the bottom, you're going to have to just move it. So, of course, because I'm putting my shaft through, I'm going to use a flat bearing on the back. Turn it around. Okay, and so I know my handle's going to go through, so I'm going to use my flat bearing. And then my last 2 3/4 inch screws that I had, I'm going to put those through my flat bearing as well to kind of help bear some of the load. And then attach with Kep's nuts. And if I'm going too fast, just pause the video, to write down the instructions. You know what to do. Once you have your Kep's nuts on pretty tight, like that one's still way too loose. I know we need wrenches, but nobody's ever telling me where I can find them, so I can't get them. The way you can always make sure it's tight is hold the head of the screw and then readjust the Kep's nuts, and that's going to help you get to the tightest that you want. Okay, so we know the handle is going to come over here. So once you have kind of decided on this other side, you're going to want to add your cam. So go ahead, your cam, your crank, and add that. Now, I'm going to actually go ahead and put in some spacers. I'm sorry, y'all can't see. So that my cam isn't completely all the way to the back. All right, so with one spacer in, I kind of notice that it's moving freely and it's not hitting my sidebar, and so that's enough for me. I'll move this up. I don't know if that's a better angle. There we go. All right, so once I kind of have that where I want it, I'm actually going to slide this in. And I'm going to put a shaft collar right here. And you actually want your shaft to barely be coming out through the shaft collar, and you'll see why in a little bit. Let me find a key. All right, good. So now I'm going to attach a shaft collar on the opposite side to make sure that it stays exactly where I want it. Oops, dang it. Hadn't secured it yet. Oh, my spacer came out. There we go. Where'd my shaft collar go? There it is. And then tighten your shaft collar. It's really hard to get a good position. It's where having multiple hands would help y'all out instead of me just trying to fumble around on it on my own. Okay. I think I got it. Double check. Okay, that's good. And then I will put my handle on. Now, if you wanted to, you could add another shaft collar on the back side of your handle to keep it in position. And so far, everything is going great. So now we have the crank. Now we just need to add the slider. Okay, So to do that, I'm going to take my 1-inch screw, and I'm actually going to put in 2 spacers. That's why we had to get such a big screw. And I'm going to put it in, actually, sorry. I'm going to take my 2 spacers and my 20 single hole metal piece. I'm going to put the screw through the very end and then put the spacers. And after that, finally, I will put it through my cam. So it actually kind of looks like this. Okay, we want this space because we want to make sure that we have enough space to be able to bypass this collar right here. So do y'all see that? You want to make sure that you have enough space between right here, over here where my spacers are, look at my thumb moving, and then right here. So because you don't want this to constantly be having friction and hit. So turn it however you need to. Get your last caps nut and secure. And you don't have to go too tight because it is plastic. All right. So go ahead and take your slide gear and slide it on your slide bar. And then find where you can line up the 20 hole so the hole is perfectly aligned with the very last one right here. Take your rivet, put in the first part, and then go ahead and push it through. All right? And then, I think I made, oh, my handle's too hard. There you go. You have your crank and slider. Try to zoom out so y'all can see it. That rotary motion turning into a reciprocating. And you got to add the noise effect. Chugga, 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 choo, choo. Because that's what. Now, if you'll notice, like my thing keeps hitting right here, I would actually want to adjust that. Maybe add another spacer if you want to add a skinny spacer to go with your double spacer right here. Because this constant hitting, you do not want that. All right, so I would make that adjustment. I would take this off, add that spacer, so you have that nice fluid motion that I'm not getting right here. Okay, so rewind, pause, whatever you need to do, and we will be making this tomorrow. Have a good day.